Good morning, class 11. Today we will be doing chapter 3, which is the basis of human behavior. And under this chapter, we will be covering the topics evolutionary perspective, biological basis of behavior, under which neurons and their structure we will be studying. And then there is part of nervous system, which is central nervous system as well as peripheral nervous system. Evolutionary perspective. We are studying evolutionary perspective because everybody has different habits and different characteristics, and we keep on evolving over the time, so there is a need of studying evolutionary perspective. Second is the meaning of evolution, what evolution means. Evolution is gradual and orderly biological changes that occur over generations, and the changes which are very much beneficial for our survival will be accumulated and passed on to the next generations. Second thing is these changes are physiological as well as behavioral. Why physiological? Because earlier the survival of the fittest was the phenomena as given by Charles Darwin. So the physiological changes, first the changes comes into your body and then the changes become the part of your behavior. The third point under evolutionary perspective is process of natural selection. Under this process of natural selection, the characteristics which are rated as the rate of highest survival will be accumulated and passed on to the next generation. What are the results of evolution? There are three important features that humans have gained out of evolution. The first one is the bigger and developed brain. Humans have the most sophisticated and important characteristics that are needed to perform difficult functions, which are the size of human brain is bigger as compared to the body weight, and it is 2.35% of the total body weight in human beings, while it is 0.2% in animals. The second result of this evolution is ability to stand straight and walk upright. Human beings were originated from apes and they were not able to stand straight. But over the time, when they tried to keep their back straight, when they tried to keep their spine in an elevated position, in a straight position, now they are standing straight and we can also walk. The third and the last benefit of this evolution was the position of thumb in hand. The apes do not have the thumb like we have. They have this thumb, the position of their thumb is slightly jointed towards their fingers, and we have this thumb at such a position that we can use our grip properly. So this is the last benefit of this evolution. Behavior of human beings is also affected by biological attributes, and one of them is neurons. So what are neurons? Neurons are the basic unit of nervous system. These are specialized cells. Specialized cells means they have unique functions to perform. That's why they are called specialized cells. What neurons do? Neurons converts various stimuli into electrical impulses. These electrical impulses then goes to central nervous system or to muscles depending upon the path of information. Then these neurons are specialized for reception, conduction and transmission of information. So some are important for reception, other neurons are important for conduction, and some other are important for transmission of information from and to the brain as well as spinal cord. Receive info from sense organs or adjacent neurons. So on which information neurons work? Neurons receive information from different sense organs like our body, muscles, joints, etc. or the adjacent neurons. So neurons work in tandem with the body. Neurons carry information from the various parts of body to central nervous system. So these are called sensory neurons, and those neurons which carry information from central nervous system to muscles or to the motor parts of body are called motor neurons. How these motor and sensory neurons made? These are basically bundles of axons, which we will study in the next part, which is structure of neuron. Under the structure of neuron, there comes the three parts. First one is soma or the cell body, second one is dendrite, and third one is axon. Every part of neuron is important for the proper functioning of a neuron or the proper receiving and transmitting of the information from the body to the CNS and from the central nervous system to the muscles and glands. So, first we will talk about soma, which is also called the cell body. It is the main body of a nerve cell, which contains of nucleus of cell. As we all know, nucleus is very much important for cell generation and for protein synthesis. So this nucleus contains of genetic material. Soma is having kind of big structure, and inside it there is a nucleus. So this is soma, and this one is nucleus, which contains of all the genetic material for cell reproduction, cell repair, and for protein synthesis. Now, why do we need this genetic material for cell reproduction? Because each cell has its own life, which is limited. After a certain time it dies, and we need another cells which is regenerated out of some material taken from this cell and from the nucleus of the soma. So, and second thing is, why do we carry out this protein synthesis in our body? So that nerve impulses can be conducted in the body easily. Nerve impulses are needed for this transmission of information from the CNS to the body and vice versa. So, these are the important functions of soma or cell body. The second one is dendrite. I have explained soma here to all of you. Now the dendrites. Dendrites are the structures like branches of trees, and these are emanating from, protruding from this structure called soma. So what are dendrites? Basically, I told you that these are branch-like structures, and then these are the receiving end of neurons. Dendrites are the receiving end of neurons. Why they called receiving ends of a neuron? Because they receive signal and from the adjacent neuron or from the cell bodies or from different parts of body, and then transmit it to soma, which is again transmitted to axon. This structure is like, this is soma, these are dendrites, these receive information from here, then it transmitted to soma, and then there is axon, and these are axon terminals or terminal buttons, from where the information will be shared by another neuron through synaptic clefts. After soma and dendrite comes the axon. Axon is the transmitting part of neuron. Just like dendrite is the receiving part of a neuron, axon transmits that particular information which is received by dendrites, then passes it on to soma, and then comes to axon. Axon has this myelin sheath over its structure, which is important for the fast processing of the information or the fast transmission, as we can say. Then after this myelin sheath comes this particular portion, which is called terminal buttons or the end portion. These small structures at the terminal point of axon have the capability of transmitting information to another neuron, gland or muscle. Now we will study how nervous system works. In the nervous system, all the information is transferred through nerve impulse. These are kind of chemical signals, or to be more precise, electrochemical signals, which are sent from one neuron to another, and then to another, then to another. So the information, the nerve impulse started from this neuron goes to this particular second one, then third one, and then the fourth one, up till the final destination where the information needs to be sent. So the nerve impulse is the sudden change in the electrical potential of a particular neuron, and when the stimulus energy is very much strong on a particular neuron, then it transmits it to the different neurons, and when this is weak, then this is, we can denote it by the sign of minus. If this is weak, then the stimulus is not transmitted to another neuron and it does not continue. So this leads us to all or none principle. As I explained, all or none principle says that if one neuron is kind of excited or stimulated, then others will automatically be in line and they will also transmit that particular information. But if this particular neuron doesn't get the enough stimulus or the strong stimulus to kind of getting stimulated, then none of these will be stimulated. Information can be transmitted from one neuron to another through the nerve impulses, and these nerve impulses are transmitted through the synapses in the nervous system. The information that can be transmitted from dendrite to axons can travel throughout the axon along its length, which can be several feet in spinal cord, and it is about less than a millimeter in the brain. So when the impulse is to be conducted in a distant part of body, like the extremities, fingers and feet, etc., then various types of neurons participate in that process, and when it is conducted to the central part of the body, then only the specified or the particular neurons take part in it. So the process of synapse takes place into I have broken it into 6 smaller steps. The first step is synthesis and storage of neurotransmitter in vesicles. So I have drawn here the structure for you. This is presynaptic neuron. This particular is a dendrite of the another receiving neuron. So it consists of synaptic vesicles. As you can see, these are synaptic vesicles. And this particular portion is called terminal button. If you remember from the previous explanation, terminal buttons are the end portion or the terminal ends of axons. So these terminal portions consist of synaptic vesicles in it, which consist of that particular material, that particular neurotransmitter, which is to be transferred into the receiving neuron. And then after this, there comes the discharge of neurotransmitter after the nerve impulse. After the excitation of this particular neuron, the neurotransmitter material will be transferred to this particular through these small areas, not the whole of the boundary, but the small areas, and it leads to discharge of neurotransmitter into the dendrite. Then this particular neurotransmitter of this dendrite and the above one will diffuse with each other and they will combine, and it will lead to two types of changes, either excitation of the receiving neuron or inhibition of the receiving neuron. If this particular receiving neuron get excited, then this process will continue, and this the synapse between this neuron and the next neuron, the upcoming neuron, will consist of the process of diffusion of the neurotransmitter and transmission of information. But if the process is inhibited instead of excitation, if the process is inhibited at this particular point, then the information will be stored here only and this process will not continue, as according to all or none principle. Then the combined neurotransmitter is then deactivated if the process is inhibited at this point. The nervous system can be divided into two parts basically, CNS and PNS. CNS is central nervous system and it consists of two parts, brain and spinal cord. Basically, this differentiation is based on the location of these particular parts. Basically, CNS is that part of nervous system which is encased in a bony structure like brain and spinal cord, and PNS is the other muscles and glands of the body. So while CNS is consist of brain and spinal cord, peripheral nervous system, peripheral means boundary, extremities. So peripheral means this is central, this is peripheral. So peripheral consists of somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Somatic nervous system is related to other body parts except those which are automatic by their activity, like pumping of heart, breathing, and sweating and other kind of activities. Autonomic nervous system consists of further two divisions, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic works in fight or flight situation, and parasympathetic is more of inducing relaxation. An example of sympathetic and parasympathetic could be like if any dog is barking and approaching towards you, then you feel frightened and either you fight or either you try to flee away from that place so that you cannot get attacked by the dog. And after that situation passes away, what do? You again get into the relaxed position as you were beforehand that. So this is the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic. The somatic nervous system consists of two types of nerves, cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Cranial nerves are of 12 sets and spinal nerve are 31 sets. So cranial nerves are of three types. Cranial means related to brain area or head area, head region. So it is of basically three types: sensory nerves, motor nerves and mixed nerves. Sensory nerves carry information from sense organs around the head area to the brain. Motor nerves carry information to the motor organs, and mixed perform both these functions, sensory as well as motor. 31 sets of spinal nerves, either they are coming out or reaching to the spine of the person, and they both perform sensory as well as motor functions. The spinal nerves collect sensory information from all over the body and send them to spinal cord, or carry the information from brain to the muscles. So spinal nerves also perform the similar functions as the sensory and motor nerves perform. So today we have covered up till PNS, that is peripheral nervous system, and we will be continuing from central nervous system, and we will discuss the queries further. If you have any, you can always tell me. Thank you so much for your time.